didn't come to Mexico City just to see the version that looks good online.
I wanted to see if Mexico City was actually worth the hype. But after a few days here, I realized that question is almost too simple. Because depending on where you stay, you're likely experiencing a completely different city. So when you say El Centro,
Like, this place is absolute chaos.
and when you say Polanco,
Of course it's safe to walk at night. They're selling $15 drinks, man.
or Roma Norte and La Condesa,
Man buns, expensive dog breeds, bad drivers. But it's pretty and the food is good.
and then you have Coyoacán.
I think Coyoacan's got the best of everything.
Mexico City kind of feels like multiple cities in one. So if someone asked me what Mexico City is like, I'd probably have to tell them it depends.
Dude, look at this at the airport. Why do we not have this? Are you kidding me? America, what are we not doing?
Driving into El Centro, I could already tell this place was all the way turned up.
My first impression is this place is absolutely wild. I knew it was gonna be busy, but I'm not even in the main market yet, and I mean, this place is packed.
The first thing I did when I got to El Centro was walk to La Merced Market, which is the biggest market in Mexico City. The streets were absolutely packed, and the sheer size of the market was insane. What actually shocked me the most, though, was the amount of produce and meat they had for sale, and just how delicious it looked.
Look how delicious some of these vegetables look. We got some fresh chickens right there. More delicious looking vegetables and fruit. We got pots and pans for sale.
I actually flew into Mexico City the night that Mexico played Tetsuya in the World Cup. I had all intentions of going out to watch the game, but it just never happened.
I wanted to hit this restaurant tonight that had it's right down the street, had some really good reviews and watch the game, but the Airbnb host left me some cervezas. I've got our super chill spot to watch the game here in the Airbnb, and I'm not saying for sure, but I may not make it out tonight. Much more chill this morning than last night. That was pretty wild, but slept great, and now we're headed to the gym. Go get this workout in, but first we gotta find a coffee somewhere.
The thing that makes El Centro so cool is that everything is mixed together. On my way to the gym, I'd pass street vendors, ridiculous historic cathedrals, museums, high-end restaurants, and basically everything in between. And then the gym itself, shout out to Snap Fitness, was on the 15th floor of a high-rise overlooking one of the most famous art museums in the city.
So I'm at the Snap Fitness in Ciudad de Mexico, get a workout on. Pretty nice little gym here, and check out this view. Are you kidding me? Like, this is the view from the cardio machines. Are you serious?
One of the things I liked about El Centro is that you could make it expensive or you could make it cheap. And sometimes those options were literally right next to each other. There were nice restaurants, casual restaurants, street food, markets, vendors, all mixed together. So if someone were to ask me, is El Centro expensive? I don't even know how to answer that cleanly because again, it depends.
So this is the concha with cream, which I was told I must get, and the hot chocolate. Okay, the cream on this is insane. I've never had anything like this. This might be like the best thing I've ever had. So this is tortilla de huevo con escamoles, and not something I normally get, but whenever am I gonna get the chance to have escamoles, which are in eggs, sauteed with chopped onions, and nopales, which are sliced cactus leaves. So the last thing I thought I'd be doing when I woke up was eating ant eggs. But hey, life's an adventure, baby.
And just to give you a quick comparison, this street food right here costs $9 US, while the meal I just showed you at El Cardinal cost me about $40. And while we're talking food, I felt the food in Mexico City tasted way better than food back home in the US. Not just better flavor, it felt better to eat, more fresh, more wholesome, and it less like it's been messed with before it got to me.
This fruit is so good. These mangoes are like candy.
Another thing about El Centro is it felt like there was always some sort of different party happening somewhere. I swear, every time I walked outside, there was a different festival, music, dancing, something going on.
So one thing I've noticed is every single day there's some sort of festival in a different part of El Centro. Every day, new festival.
But where else can you walk through a street party, turn the corner, and then end up right inside a cathedral or an art museum? That's what made El Centro so interesting to me. Loud, crowded, but it also had all the history sitting right there in the middle of it. And now for the most surprising thing I found in El Centro. Bookstores. Literally everywhere.
And look, another bookstore. Another bookstore. There's another bookstore. And you got some more books right here. Another bookstore. Another bookstore here. And this one looks like it even has a cafe in it. We got a high-end bookstore. We got more books. More books. My mom would be in love with this place right here.
So I decided to eat at Balcón del Zocalo, which has an insane view of the city. And I saw a lot of people complaining online about the prices, which kind of annoyed me because one, it really wasn't that expensive, and two, like, what do you expect? You're eating at a nice restaurant with probably one of the best views in the city. Yeah, obviously there's going to be some of that built into the price.
Walking to what looks to be a thunderstorm. Mexico City, you never know, gotta have that jacket ready.
Interpreta que Morgan Rogers puede tener impacto apareciendo ahí un...
After a good dinner and a great view, it's time for a lucha libre match.
This is freaking awesome. Seriously, what is more entertaining than this? So the Lucha Libre show was amazing. It was so funny. And my favorite part, honestly, had to be there was 3 Mexican women behind me just screaming bloody murder at the top of their lungs. They were so into it.
After leaving my apartment in the heart of El Centro, I left behind a place that was loud, crowded, historic, messy, expensive, cheap, beautiful, and overwhelming, all at the same time, and headed to see the version of Mexico City that everybody online talks about, Roma Norte and La Condesa.
So stepping off the metro in Insurgentes, I'm gonna butcher that. This feels so tame compared to El Centro. Already, it's completely different atmosphere.
When I first stepped into Roma Norte, I had mixed feelings about it. I kind of felt like I was in the US, but not really. And I definitely didn't feel like I was in the same Mexico City I just came from. So it kind of took me a while to get my bearings and get a feel for it.
Roma Norte. Trendier, more white people, cleaner, less traffic, and people are also following traffic rules. So case in point to my previous statement, just walked by a cafe and there was Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again blasting out of the front of it. Okay, here's the crazy thing. I just saw the first accident that I've seen in Mexico City. So check this out. Like I just said before, everyone's following traffic rules here. They're following like stop signs, they're following street lights, but I just saw an accident. I've spent 5 days in El Centro and Coyoacán with the most crazy, no rules, insane driving I've ever seen, and not one accident. So hands down, the biggest difference I noticed between this area and the downtown districts, so El Centro, Coyoacán, Doctores, is that the way people walk and drive here is with so much hesitancy. Like, people are, it's like people are scared to drive, they're scared to walk across the street, and it's a completely different world from the aggressive, kind of chaotic atmosphere, you know, of the bigger parts of the city. Yep, and some white chick almost got hit by a car crossing the crosswalk, staring at her phone while walking.
Don't get me wrong, Roma Norte and La Condesa are beautiful. They're green, walkable, calm. It's easy to find places, and it probably feels comfortable if you're visiting Mexico City for the first time. I do see why there is an appeal towards it. And when I eventually sat down to get some food, I was pleasantly surprised.
So those tacos I just had were absolutely delicious. The sauces were good. The presentation of the sauces was, and how everything was laid out was good. So I was kind of shocked. This is one thing that surprised me. I was shocked to see when the bill came out, they weren't actually that expensive.
And this goes back to one of the main themes of Mexico City. No matter where you're at, stuff can be really expensive or decently priced. Overall, I get why people like Roma Norte and La Condesa. It's beautiful, it's calm, simple. I just don't think it was the version of Mexico City that I connected with the most.
So I made it to Polanco, where I'm getting ready to meet up with this chick, and as you can tell, this area got swanky and expensive real quick, so tonight ain't gonna be cheap. Yep, there's the old Gucci store. Great.
Right away, Polanco felt like the business class version of Mexico City.
And look, they even got a Fogo de Chao. It's funny because I keep walking by every single place because I'm like, nah, bro, this looks too expensive. What else we got? The thing that's kind of shocking me about this area is how many places I'm walking by that are just super fancy and they're empty. There's like no one at all at the tables. I don't know if it's because it rained earlier, but it's 8:30 at night and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of strange to me. Again, another example of like a decked out place, but there's nobody in it.
I never did figure out why it was so empty, but I eventually decided to sit down and have a drink. While waiting for our reservation, I took a walk through a park, which interestingly enough was named...
I'll be damned, there's a statue of Abraham Lincoln. That's why this is called Parque Lincoln.
This made me laugh a little, but honestly, it fit perfectly with the theme of Polanco. The park felt polished, international, and a little like it was designed for people wearing business casual.
And here's where we're going. Blanco Castelar. Ooh, this looks fancy. This is gonna be a bill. Nice restaurant, and they got the game on. USA is tied with Turkey, 2-2, 64 minutes in. Come on, boys, we gotta get this.
This is where Polanco really started to impress me. This dish is baked red snapper. Unfortunately, I was late with the camera, but that plate on the left is actually all the rock salt the fish was baked in after they chiseled it off right in front of us. The entire presentation took about 10 to 15 minutes, then they served it right there at the table and made sure every piece was completely bone free. And honestly, this is why I love solo travel. Because when you travel with someone, you usually end up doing everything with that person. But when you're traveling alone, you're much more likely to meet someone new, say yes to something, and end up somewhere you probably never would have found traveling with people you already knew. And that's exactly what happened here. The only reason I ended up at this restaurant and ordered this particular dish was because I was hanging out with someone local who knew what was up. I never would have picked this place or known to order this on my own, and it was really cool getting to have an experience I normally wouldn't have had. This meal was not cheap, but it was absolutely worth it. And honestly, it kind of shifted my view on Polanco. Granted, I had very little experience there, but my overall feeling ended up being, yes, you are going to pay more in Polanco, but what you're paying more for actually seems to be worth it. Mexico City has pretty bad traffic, but the cheat code is the metro.
The metro here is so nice and easy to use. I have no idea why people would not use it.
The metro is cheap, fast, and became my default way of moving through the city. For example, on my last day, I took it all the way from Coyoacán to the airport, and it only cost me 5 pesos, which is 30 cents US, and it took me around 45 minutes. But I also took taxis when needed. And I know people online say taxis in Mexico City can be unsafe or that drivers might try to scam you, but that just wasn't my experience. Every driver I had was professional, the rides felt completely normal, and I never felt uncomfortable.
So we just got off the metro stop at General Anaya, which is probably stop you want if you're getting off at Coyoacán.
Before I show you Coyoacán during the day, I want to jump ahead to my final night. Mexico had just beaten Ecuador in the World Cup, and I ended up partying with a bunch of locals until like 3 in the morning. And honestly, that night probably explains why Coyoacán became my favorite part of Mexico City.
So I'm still walking around in slow motion after last night. And what was so cool about it is just the way they watched the game. Is, you know, we're all in a kind of a packed little living room, small TV, close together. People are going nuts. I mean, everybody's into it. Screaming, drinking, running around the house, jump. I mean, it was much more excitement than American party sport, you know, watch the sports than an American party for sure. In America, you'll definitely have some excitement, but you know, when you're at somebody's house, you usually always have like, one, it's more spaced out, and two, you always have like a couple people that really aren't into it. And that was not the case, you know, at all for this one. But the real fun happened after the game. So I get up to go to bed because I'm tired and I'm dead set on making it to yoga the next morning. Like, I'm dead set. And I go to bed about 10 o'clock, about midnight. I wake up and it's absolute chaos downstairs. There was like 5 people when it started. I'm hearing like 10 plus people. I'm like, what is going on? Music is blaring, people are screaming, people are like beating countertops like they're drums, and I'm just like, okay, I really got like no choice at this point to go down here and see what this is about. So I head downstairs, and everyone, there's like a gallon of mezcal. Everybody's got a glass, everybody has a beer, everybody is dancing. I'm immediately included. Now I'm dancing, and long story short, I end up going to bed at like 4 a.m. We're dancing all night. I mean, it's like you got like 10 or 12 people in a very, very small living space. Furniture's moved apart. You've got 2 dogs in the middle of it. You know, we're trying not to step on the dogs, and just dancing all night. It was, the funniest part was they have a Mexican dance, something to do with like an iguana falling from a tree, and everybody has to get on the floor and like act like, you know, they're this iguana that's like falling out of a tree. So you're like, it's hard to explain, but it's like a mix of doing yoga poses and like flopping around on one leg, and it was insane. And it's just, that was such a special moment, and one of those moments that I'll probably always remember, you know, for the rest of my life.
The interesting thing about this trip is I only booked my first Airbnb ahead of time. Everything after that was last minute, and I actually booked this next place at 2:45 p.m. that afternoon for the same night. I'm walking down there now to check in at 5 p.m. I love traveling this way because it gave me the freedom to just decide what I wanted to do at the very last second.
So I just stepped into Coyoacán, right off the metro line at the outskirts of the city, and first thoughts, everything immediately slowed down.
I grabbed a super cheap burger that absolutely hit the spot and checked into the Airbnb for one night to relax and reset.
Oh, this is just what I needed. This was the perfect pit stop, mid-trip, to stop, put my feet up, relax a little bit, and get some laundry done. And we're off. That was the Airbnb that I stayed in last night right there.
Interestingly enough, I did something I normally wouldn't do. I booked my final Airbnb with a family that was hosting out of their home.
Making the decision to book an Airbnb with a family instead of a hotel was literally the best decision I've ever made in my life. I was so hesitant to do it, but now that I've been there for a day, so happy. Literally coming home to, you know, we're a real family coming in the door, and there's the smell of cooking, there's laughter, you know, there's 2 dogs greeting you. One of the dogs loves to just like sit in my lap. Is so comforting, and like it's exactly what I needed to end this trip.
Again, Coyoacán just felt more laid back. It was still busy, you had the markets, shops, plenty of people, but the energy was just different. It felt calmer and more relaxed, while still having the beautiful architecture and greenery that you see throughout the rest of Mexico City. And once again, Mexico City just does a phenomenal job of getting TVs outside for people to watch sports.
Oh my, look at this menu. So I went with the Turkish coffee, but look at this menu. So I don't know if you can see it, but they've got like 15 different types of cold brews and all kinds of different coffees. I mean, look at this. The Tarantula cold brew coffee plus maca plus milk plus mint plus chocolate. Okay, I just ordered 3 coffee drinks from that cafe. And this last one, it's called Achaya Gaeta. So it's cold brew coffee, milk, Oaxacan chocolate, and an Oreo. Whoa. That's another sign from the universe telling me to watch the House of the Dragon. Here's an interesting concept. You see this park behind me? It's called Viveros de Coyoacán. And they actually do not allow phones and cameras. So people are running, walking, and it's pretty cool because you can't have a camera or a phone. I think Coyoacán's got the best of everything. And the people are definitely more laid back here. Like, it's like for sure, there's a definite change. The gym here in Coyoacán is called King's Gym. It's as if they knew I was coming. I know, it's terrible, I know.
Before hitting the gym though, I had to wake up a little bit with some coffee.
So I love AeroPress coffee. Is what I prefer at home. So when I saw a shop that made it, you know how to get some. Ooh, that slaps. These beans are from Veracruz.
So I didn't want to be a weirdo and film a bunch inside, but it was a really family-oriented gym. They had boxing, gymnastics, martial arts, and regular weights for adults, and there was tons of kids training.
Wasn't the best workout I've ever did, but you know, sometimes that don't matter. Just got to get it in. As the sun goes down here in Coyoacán, you see just everything just like slows down. It becomes relaxing. You know, you can sit outside, sit on your front porch and chill. You ain't doing that in El Centro.
This taco joint was 10 yards from my Airbnb, and I probably ate here once a day. It was inexpensive and delicious. So was Mexico City worth the hype? Absolutely. But after seeing how different every part of the city felt, I understand why everybody describes it differently. Coyoacán was probably my favorite, but like I said from the beginning, it depends.